is exactly 10 p.m. in the studios of UBC TV. Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV this Tuesday, the first day of April 2025. First though, here are our top stories. It's Arthur Mujenyi, new Director General of the Internal Security Organization. Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja makes an on-spot inspection of Kampala roads under construction. Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited power switch on marks transition from Umeme Utility Company. And in sports, collaboration with Excalibur Foundation and Real Madrid Foundation to develop Naguru Social Sports School. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language it is Sejomo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has appointed Arthur Mujenyi as the new Director General of the Internal Security Organization. The position fell vacant following the death of Brigadier General Charles Oluka, who died on the 29th of January 2025. The President has also appointed Tony Kinyera Apechu as the Deputy Director General ISO, replacing Colonel Emma Katabazi, who has been transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Prime Minister, Robinah Nabbanja, has made an on-spot inspection of roads under construction around Kampala. She was irked by the sluggish implementation by contractors and encroachment on reserve areas by persons claiming to be owners of the land. Nabbanja inspected areas around Chebando Ring Road, Sir Apollo Kagwa, Sentema and Salama Chirudu Road, and found out slow progress and inappropriate work done. We have more in this story.
While inspecting the roads around Kampala that are under construction, Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja, accompanied by the Minister of State for Works, Echweru Francis, the Minister for Kampala, Misa Kabanda, Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director, Hajat Buzeki Sharifa, KCCA engineers and contractors, she discovered inaccuracies like narrowness of roads and heaps of maram in the middle of the road.
We cannot be on a snail speed. And so we want that contractor to tell us why he's moving at that pace. The heaps of soils accessed by the community.
Salama Chirudu Road that was supposed to be completed by January 2024 and be used during the Non-Aligned Movement Summit is still under construction.
Make the president inspect a road and promise people that road will service our NAM conference up to now. And yet you have the money. Isn't that road that is funded by ADB? Don't we have the money? What is the problem? If the contractor is the problem, we look for a way of removing him from the contract. I'm being sincere to you, we cannot tolerate people who are not able.
Minister Echweru said that the delayed construction processes and lack of forward maintenance are causing a lot of jam and congestion, leaving the people of Kampala disgusted.
But the truth is that we are very serious. Very serious. That's why we have decided to put the whole day for a minister. I'm supposed to be wearing a suit, but you see me on a khaki like this. I'm not a tourist. So for us to do what we are doing, we are answering to the people we promise to render services to as a government. The people of Kampala are disgusted. The citizens of who are residing in Kampala and its periphery are disgusted. They think we are not doing enough. So when I had the opportunity to share with the Prime Minister, I told Prime Minister, I know for a fact that a lot is going on, but some citizens don't know what is happening.
Nabanja demanded explanation and timeliness from KCC engineers, China Railway 18 contractors working on Salama Kirud Road to ensure tight supervision.
I'm so disappointed with the road of Salama Kirudu. Very disappointed. So we need an explanation from the contractor and you engineer why you made us take the president to that road. The president inspected that road, but now the road is as it was in 2023.
Meanwhile, Nabanja inspected the Chinawataka drainage system, where about 2 people reportedly drowned in the recent heavy rains, and noticed blocked drainage channels due to garbage dumping and houses built along drainage channels, whom she ordered to relocate immediately. Winnie Ainembabas Katire and Kahunde Sandra for UBC.
The Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament has advised the Office of the Prime Minister to ensure adequate allocation of funds to the affirmative action plans and districts to improve service delivery to beneficiaries. Now, this follows a report from Minister Justin Kasule Lumumba on inadequate attention to the affirmative action plans. The ministry had appeared before the Presidential Affairs Committee to present a ministerial policy statement for the financial year 2025-2026.
In the ministerial policy statement presented to the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs, the Office of the Prime Minister seeks 154 billion shillings for the financial year 2025-2026. The funding is for priorities such as economic empowerment of vulnerable groups across the country and monitoring of government ministries, departments and agencies.
Our vote, which is vote 003, projected to have a total budget of 154,580 million, out of which 6,165 million is allocated for wages, 135,667 million for non-wage recurrent.
The ministry also proposed an off-budget allocation of 24 billion shillings to support affirmative action initiatives in Karamoja and the Loyal Triangle, among other areas. However, members of Parliament were concerned over limited funding allocated for affirmative action plans.
Look at other sectors. For example, the OPM donations, about 9.164 billion. Then if you come to affirmative actions, affirmative action, to me, it is slowly losing value because it is not being put into considerations.
For instance, like Karamoja, my uncle, our brother, has told you how they are suffering. And challenges on ground, you can easily touch them. But they don't receive anything. They have given you all the activities and the monies that are required. Zero money. How do we expect them to perform?
The increasing number of refugees in the country is a pressing concern. However, the OPM has highlighted to address the issue.
These refugees have mingled with the Ugandans in the communities, and because they are supported with monies, they have gone on to take all the jobs, particularly in the formal sector. When you go to Kansanga, people have left their houses. Ugandans have nowhere to stay.
We have halted temporarily the registration of Eritreans and Somalis. And we're also working out stringent measures of ensuring that asylum processing systems are stringent to ensure that the right people are those who are granted asylum status.
Ministers representing Karamoja, the Northern Region and others have called for more funding and a larger resource envelope for the electorate to benefit from government initiatives.
As Northern Uganda, I think they still need to continue to have affirmative action for Northern Uganda for reasons that are very well known. that is the region that has experienced war for over 2 decades, and therefore we need to continue with helping the community recover from war, settling and then recovering from war.
Road Wenzod is 44 districts out of how many that we have in Uganda. Since 2022-23 financial year up to now, the money for the budget for Kasimo, ex gratia, was taken off the budget. For 3 years, we have not received any money. And yet, every quarter, we used to get 5 billion. But for the 3 years that I have been in that ministry, that budget line was taken off. But I'm glad to see that there's a little bit of improvement now.
Rebecca Natongo, Gloria Butabinji, Parliament.
Uganda Revenue Authority projects to collect 36.71 trillion shillings in the financial year 2025-2026. While presenting the ministerial policy statement in the Committee of Finance, the Minister for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, said they expect to collect not less than what they collected last year because they assume that the economy will grow. Take a watch.
Minister of Finance has presented the Ministerial Policy Statement for Financial Year 2025-26 to Parliamentary Committee of Finance that indicates total domestic revenue projections to be 35.692 trillion shillings. This represents a growth in revenue target of 4.323 trillion shillings, indicating 13.78%.
You'll see that there has been increased resources allocated to the activity of tax education and awareness, because we believe this is a critical gap that must be filled to improve compliance, public outreach, and client support initiatives.
Members of Parliament wanted the team to give them assurance that the budget they are giving is based on proper assumptions.
Because I would have expected you to give us some highlights in terms of the policy measures that you set last year and how they have performed, so that it gives us an indicator of why you are expecting a revenue growth of 4.3 trillion.
Growth in revenue target by 13.7. Kindly clarify to us the fundamental issue that brings the growth to that. What is so different that you're going to do this year to raise the target by 13.7?
In financial year 24-25, our projection was 31.9 trillion. There is an assumption that in financial year 25-26, we shall correct not less than what we corrected.
Some wanted responses on enforcement and compliance in cases where a shop is shared by many people.
But some people are complaining that you are once they say stock, even if you are many, say no, this is you are the owner of the shop. They use an assessment. How do you manage group stocks?
There's a lot lacking on tax education, because recently I was with some investors. Actually, for them, they even don't know when to object if there are issues to do with URA. They don't know when to appeal. It means that there's a lot lacking. You need to do a lot.
A whole 40 billion for systems upgrade, support maintenance services for efficient revenue mobilization. And given the controversy you've had on EFRIS, I'm wondering whether this now will include EFRIS, or whether you are budgeting for that.
The chairperson of the committee, Amos Kankunda, wanted officials to explain to the committee efforts done to ensure traders understand what EFRIS is, because many still think it is a tax.
Revenue through interventions like EFRIS and the rest have been failing. You think that therefore now with the awareness and other interventions, something can be done. Out there, we find that some of the traders are not aware. They think IFRIS is a tax, and we are surprised because we know it is not.
The last 10 months, we've not been enforcing IFRIS, but we've concentrated, following the traders' strike, we've concentrated on sensitization and educating the taxpayers the benefit of IFRIS. Interestingly, we have noted improved voluntary registration on IFRIS by way of numbers registering, meaning that the message and the benefits is beginning to yield.
Musasi's explained to the committee the assumptions they have that revenue will increase by 13% financial year 2025-26.
That the tax measures, like we've stated, we have already presented in Parliament, the bills which we have presented will bring new resources, which are also built in. Then we assume that as URA continues to improve, the efficiency in tax administration will also give us additional revenue.
Others discussed include taxing all exports and how porous borders are being handled. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwetabinji at Parliament.
At the stroke of midnight last night, key stakeholders in Uganda's electricity subsector gathered at the Lugogo substation to witness a historic transition from Umeme Utility Company to Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. As the clock marked the start of April 1st, 2025, the Minister for Energy, Ruth Nankabirwa, and officials from the Electricity Regulatory Authority reassured power consumers of improved services under UEDCL's management.
So these are different lines. We use different color codes. We have a timestamp. As you notice, we also have that clock. This clock is a GPS clock. It's synchronized in nanoseconds, really fast, so it's very accurate. So even the system uses that same time to ensure that every event is time-stamped when it happens, so that we can quickly know this has happened at this location at this time, and based on that we can quickly assign a resource to attend to it. So that reduces the duration by 30% when you can monitor the grid in real time. 4, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The invoice goes to
the big switch and the big picture. And the big switch and the big picture. Can you come for Johnson, take the big picture. Thanks a lot, Honorable Minister.
10% tariff reduction, with optimism of attracting the public towards different categories of electricity usage. The reduction has come at a time of transferring power distribution from the private company Umeme to the government-owned Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. We have more in this story.
The announced end-user tariff, as updated quarterly by the Electricity Regulatory Authority, indicate a tariff reduction of 14%. The regulator explains factors gravitating tariffs movement, which among others include time when UEDCL has just assumed power distribution in parameters initially operated by a private company, which is Umeme Limited. The full ownership of government gives the public hope of further tariff reduction.
And what you have to do now, working with us of course, is to make sure that we put a strong communication network.
The UEDCL tariff performance targets to have a downfall curve movement as electricity demand is expected to increase, proportionate to the expected government investment in electricity extension. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
Matters politics now, and the Democratic Party President General Norbert Mao has dismissed media reports implicating him and the party Secretary General Gerard Siranda of hiking the nomination fees for the top party leadership positions to lock out some members from contesting against them in the forthcoming delegates conference. Norbert Mao was announcing the party guidelines to operationalize the renewal of the party leadership at the party headquarters in Kampala.
Democratic Party President Norbert Mao has told journalists that alleged accusations are baseless reports aimed at tainting his leadership. Mao clarified that they have no powers to change the nomination fees as alleged, since the said nomination fees are set by the party National Executive Committee.
So, registration of new members has been an uphill task because we are starting afresh. Secondly, our leadership structure was infiltrated by people with divided loyalties. So I gave my instructions to the Secretariat to ensure that we have a verification process. There's actually enough room in DP to change how the party runs, provided you are serious. So we feel insulted when people who are not serious are confusing people. Our group was very serious, and it means that when you are serious, you tell each other the truth.
He assured the party members that the nomination fees still stand at 5 million shilling and 3 million shilling for those intending to vie for the positions of both the party president and secretary general, respectively, in their forthcoming delegates conference. He said the party is rebuilding structures, starting with grassroots leadership committees.
I want to repeat those to the National Organizing Secretary that he now has a duty to do what is called branch inspection. In other words, to clean up our leadership structure of the party. Why do we need a cleanup? We need a cleanup because we want those who claim to be DP to be truly DP. That way, we shall be able to achieve those three objectives.
The Democratic Party Organizing Secretary Herbert Rutaguera explained that the party leadership renewal exercise that has kicked off today will run up to 20th April this year. Marion Awori and Joseph Muyingo for UBC.
A health facility has been constructed to serve residents of Katogo slum in Gaba Machinde division to ease access to health services. Babies Uganda and Partners has constructed a medical facility to offer health services and a vocational training center to train slum community in vocational skills.
Access to healthcare services and vocational training for youth living in Peru urban Gaba has always been a problem. With funding from Babies Uganda and its partners, the Center for Visually Impaired Children under the Gaba Community Project has launched a medical facility to offer maternal, pediatric and male patient services. The vocational training program has training equipment to support vulnerable residents of Katogo, a slum in Makindye division, to get hands-on skills.
As Katogo, one of the villages in Gaba Parish, has been challenged with the many diseases, especially the waterborne diseases, plus the malaria, because this is a waterlogged area.
This is a slum. It is challenged by waterborne diseases, it's challenged by poverty, it's challenged by people who don't have income, who have nothing, basically.
The president of Babies Uganda, Montessori Martin, launched the project at Katogo Gaba to transform lives of communities living in the slum.
We work since many years ago to provide opportunities for both the present and the future to all those in need. And that is exactly what we have achieved with this beautiful project. With the opening of this clinic and vocational center, and the dream that once seemed distant, but is now a reality.
It has been a dream for many years, and now it has become true, thanks to all the supporters we have there, and to all the trust that we have in the people that lives here in this village, with the help of Teddy and Bosa that are always in our side, doing all the things that we need and giving advice and helping us with everything.
Makinde Division's Minister for Health, Josephine Mulamata, said constructing the modern medical center and vocational training facility assures services to the community.
We are going to be having services like antenatal care. The women will be delivering here. The mothers will be giving another life in this facility. We are going to look at the general medicine. General medicine, those are the walking-in patients. However, they are going to be having also inpatients.
The director and chairperson of the Board of Trustees for the Center for Visually Impaired Children, Chizito Bosa, said empowering the community with health care and skills will make people achieve dignified and self-sufficient livelihood.
Our donors, Babies Uganda, funded it, and they have put up a facility to support the people in terms of health, but also in terms of skills or skills development, such that the youth and women who have no income can learn something and then trade it in order to earn some money to support their families.
Mary Namkose, Robert Boita, UBC News.
Persons with psychosocial disabilities in Uganda often face discrimination, marginalization and exclusion, thereby negatively impacting their access to education, healthcare and social participation. Disability rights activists and their umbrella body of Triumph Coalition are now calling on governments at both national and local levels to implement the Global Disability Summit commitments to ensure meaningful inclusion and participation of persons with psychosocial disabilities in all matters that affect their lives.
Limited knowledge and lack of awareness about disability issues contribute to discrimination and marginalization. The Disability Rights Fund is implementing a project code named Our Voices Matters towards a holistic approach to psychosocial disability inclusion. Over 30 psychosocial disability rights self-advocates from the districts of Jinja, Buyikwe and Mukono have been skilled to have basic knowledge on tracking implementation of the Global Disability Summit commitment.
The voice of persons with psychosocial disability matters in the Global Disability Summit. And also the outcomes we expect to train self-advocates who will go down on the grassroots and also use the rights enshrined in the UNCRPD and Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Summit commitments of Uganda 2022, which among them as inclusive education, inclusive health, climate change, inter alia.
Tracking the implementation status of the Global Disability Summit commitments with specific attention paid to persons with psychosocial disabilities is critical.
But on the overall, based on the performance, Uganda is, yes, progressively realizing the implementation of the commitments using the human rights-based approach under the UNCRPD.
The training equipped them with skills for self-advocacy on disability inclusion for enhanced participation in decision-making.
Persons with psychosocial disabilities, we have high support needs. Because we are diverse and the way our disability presents, it brings a lot of high support needs which are not easily understood in the communities and with the service providers. And this makes us many times to remain behind.
We have been trained on the different articles that support our advocacy work for persons with disabilities. One article that stood out for me mostly was Article 19, which explains and helps us have an understanding of independent living as a person with disabilities, especially persons with psychosocial disabilities. We are able to understand that we also have equal rights to full inclusion.
The Global Disability Summit, GDS, commitments ensure inclusion and participation of persons with psychosocial disabilities in matters affecting their lives. This addresses vulnerability and exclusion of persons with disabilities. Charity Marin Imnat and Sam Balikowa for UBC News.
We'll now take a short break and we'll be returning with the latest in business.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula body street, shoes are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Mera ngenze mbonipa Sam anazanya Ruto ganyiga star 278 then hash kuja kuba ngo yingide mukazanyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu yazino wano milioni 10 maso yara tija mfere sente zino nazifunye zino nazikoze echi naziwangu te namasanyo ina manji byoto byange byembadde njagala giyenda bitukiriza.
Must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory.
Join us this Friday, the 4th of April 2025 on UBC TV at 9 p.m. Topic: Bridging Climate Action and Sustainable Development in Africa. Climate change remains a pressing challenge, and the 6th Africa Climate Talks provide a platform to address key solutions for achieving the SDGs. Tune in as experts, policymakers and stakeholders dive into discussions on climate resilience and adaptation strategies, the role of the youth and innovation in sustainability, policies shaping Africa's green future, and collaborative action towards achieving the SDGs. This advert is brought to you by the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on SDGs with support from WaterAid Uganda.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. DFC's financials for the full year 2024 show positive results despite recording low private sector credit. The bank released its full year results at their headquarters in Kampala today. Arnold Makwadulu has the detailed story.
Development Finance Company of Uganda Bank Limited has recorded increased business activity due to the growth of its customer transactions in 2024. Despite seeing low credit supply to private sector, the bank has lent a healthy sum to government through bonds.
And I think it's an area that all of us are concerned about, and we believe that there's opportunity for us to turn this curve around. How do we spare public sector credit growth as we see a decline in this particular number?
The bank's financials show that the COVID-19 pandemic put its non-performing assets at 16% in 2021. However, the fresh team of managers that have been recruited since 2023 at the bank has strived to lessen the non-performing assets to 4% by 2024.
And this implies that our non-performing loans remain contained.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What did we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula body street, shoes are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, nigga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling Chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Sports news now, and I&M Bank's status as the leader in the growth of Uganda's sports has been boosted by a collaboration with Excalibur Foundation, and
Social Inclusion for Children has signed an agreement with Real Madrid Foundation and I&M Bank.
This collaboration perfectly aligns with our vision to create a sustainable and long-lasting change in the lives of underserved communities, as well as empowering the next generation to reach their full potential through education and especially through sports.
The idea is for the consolidation and expansion of the Naguru Social Sports School in Uganda, with a view to extending the project to other schools.
We look for someone who shares our soul, our mission and our vision. And we found Youth Sports Uganda. They are more than collaborators. Now they are part of our family in Uganda.
The agreement that takes effect from next season will enhance the sports and socio-education of vulnerable children while fostering values such as solidarity, respect and teamwork.
Together, we have made a meaningful impact on the least vulnerable children in Uganda. Today, we take another significant step forward with the addition of the I&M Bank to our alliance. Their support will allow us to reach even more children in need, offering them a safe space where they can enjoy the sports while learning essential values that shape their future.
Excalibur Foundation will be responsible for the on-ground implementation of the project and allocating the funds received from I&M Bank. Real Madrid Foundation will ensure the proper application of its methodology by providing training and mentoring of the coaches involved in the program. Since 2022, Excalibur and Real Madrid Foundation have collaborated with the Naguru Social Sports School and have impacted over 280 participants.
One of the best things we've got is character change of these children. We live in a slum, and you know what happened during that time. These children went off. But when this project came in, the character change of our learners have really changed greatly.
The program, in its third cycle, has Youth Sport Uganda and engages in home visits for menstrual hygiene and reduction of depression among children.
And we've finally come to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Senyomo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanongoma, wishing you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'd love to take this opportunity